Hello everyone, this is Pat from ULearn Office with a small presentation on how to put some order on the data that you have. The way I'm going to do it is just start with a very simple list, just 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. As small a list as you can make, but afterwards I want to show you how to get data out of data series that you have. So let's just see. The first function that you could use is to find the smallest value that you have in your data series. In this case, I'm going to use the min function. Just press equal. As soon as you press equal, you're telling Excel the rest is a function or a series of functions you're going to use in your formula. In this case, I'm going to use the min function, which returns the smallest value from a range of cells. Now I've put my cursor on min and I'm going to press the tab key right next to the Q to select this function, and there you go, I got min, and then you got indication under it telling me where's the range of cells that I need. Well, in this case it's from A1 to A5, and I'm gonna finish the function just by closing the parentheses, and that's done. I need to press enter to confirm my function, and of course the smallest value I have right now is 2. Now I want to go the reverse way. I want to find the biggest one, so I'm going to use the max function for that. I'm going to start with an equal, find max, and max A returns the largest value even if there are text in there. So I know there's only values in there, I don't have any text, so I'm going to use the max. And one thing, when you use a function, you start with an equal, the name of the function, and right after you open up with parentheses. There is no space between the name of the function and the first parentheses. Most people at one time or another place a space and it won't work. So just make sure straight after you've written the name of the function that you open your parentheses. And once again, I'm going to use the same range of cells. So I'm putting my cursor on A5, pressing the shift key, and when I use the up cursor and you're still pressing the shift key, I can select the range of cells I need, and it could be many rows or columns. In this case it's just 5 cells. I'm going to close the parentheses, press enter, and of course the value I want is 10. That's fine if you want the biggest or the smallest, but what if you wanted the second biggest or the second smallest? You can't do it with min or max. You have to use 2 more functions, and of course for the smallest one the name of the function is small, so equal sm, and there's only small, and returns the nth smallest value according to what you desire. So this is the one I want. I'm going to press the tab key to select the function, and then I got 2 arguments, 2 information or 2 parameters that I need to give to the small function to make it work properly. First, the array or the range of cells that I need. In this case, again from A1 to A5, and then afterwards there's this bit you have to be careful for. When you have a function that needs many arguments, many parameters, it depends on the international language options that they're using. If your decimal point is a period, your argument separator will be a comma. If your decimal point is a comma, your argument separator will be a semicolon. I'm just saying this to make sure that you make it right. You use the proper argument separator. Just to repeat, you're using a period for the decimal point, you're going to use a comma for the argument separator. You're using a comma for the decimal point, you're going to be using a semicolon for the argument separator. Just make sure of that. Like I said, I want to find the second smallest value, so I'm just going to say I want the second, close the parentheses and press enter, and there you go. So it's 4 in this case. Now if I want to find the second largest or second biggest, actually I'm going to have to use the large function. So equal L A. You got many functions here, but only one that starts with L and A. There you go. So I'm going to press the tab key right next to the Q to select the function, and then again I got the same thing. I got to write where's the range of cells and what's the nth value I want, or k value. Again, my range is from A1 to A5. I'm going to be using a semicolon. You might be using a comma to separate your arguments Just be careful for that, and I want the second biggest. In this case it would be 8, and when I press enter and confirm, it's done. That's nice and that's very good, but I could do even better with large and small. So let me just see. I got a large range of cells, let's say, but I want to find the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth value. I could write the same function again and again, but I'd prefer to write it once and copy it properly, and so it can work. So we're going to start with the small, and after we'll do the same thing with large. I'm going to start with equal and small. I'm going to just write it out, it's so easy. And then again I got the range and the value. The range will remain the same from A1 to A5. Again, just be careful for the argument separator. It could be a semicolon, like it could be a comma. Now the value, I could write 1, 2, or 3, but what I'm going to do is just use the value that's in the neighboring cell, the cell that's directly to the left, which is a 1 in this case. I'm going to close the parentheses and press enter, and of course the smallest one would be 2. I could be interested in using the fill handle. That's the little box at the end of the active cell, and you see when my cursor is on top of it, my cursor changes form for a thin black plus, and I could use it to copy it, the formula I just written down, copy it down, and of course that wouldn't work. Now let's see why it wouldn't work. So let's see our first cell, and you see in the formula bar on top it says the small function from A1 to A5, and the nth value I want is in A1, which would be the one here. Just look at the formula right below. I'm going to see cell A2 to A6. Well, that's not what I want. I really want from A1 to A5. E2, yeah, the cell to the left, that's right, but A2 to A6 is not right. I'm going to just come back here, and that tells you that I really need to fix my formula, and in this case look at the absolute and relative cell references, and in this case I know I'm going to copy the formula down, so that's going to change the values of my rows. So you see from A1 to A5, and afterward it changed to A2 to A6 or A3 to A7, and that's not what I want, so I need to fix that. Tell Excel to always use the same row values. So what I'm going to do is just press F2 to change my formula, and what I need to do is place a $sign in front of the 1 and in front of the 5, and it tells Excel this part of the formula won't change. I don't want you to change it. When you're going to copy it, the values for the rows will remain the same. It's going to say $1 to $5. There's my formula. Once again, I'm going to use the fill handle. I could use copy and paste, you know, but the cells are right next one to the other. It's easier with the fill handle. I'm just going to go down, and there we go. That's selected. So just to make sure I got it right, let's go to A5 and look at the formula bar. It says $1 to $5, so it's selecting the proper range of cells I need, and it selects the value from E5. So that's right, that's perfect. That's done. Let's do the same thing with the large value to find from the biggest to the smallest. I'm going to start with equal large. Perfect. The range of cells A1 to A5, but I know I need to fix this right now. I could place a $sign by myself, or you press the F4 key, and I can go around and select from one of the 4 possibilities. Either I fix both, I fix only the rows, only the columns, or none at all. In this case, I know I just need to fix the rows because I am copying the formula vertically. If I needed to copy the formula horizontally, it would be the column letters that would change, not this case. So I'm going to press F4 until I only fix the row numbers. Select my argument separator, whether it's a comma or semicolon, and go get the value from the first row and the E1 cell, and close the formula. There you go. The biggest one I got is 10, and with the fill handle I'll be able to easily copy the formula, which takes in consideration the absolute or relative references, and there we go. I got the biggest one, the second, third, fourth, and fifth biggest value or largest value. So that's one way to easily get the values you need from a large range of cells. But there's two more functions I want to show you, and to make it easier, I'm just going to be right beside the values I need. One of the old functions that you could use was the rank function, and that was available until Excel 2007. It's still available if you wanted to, but it's been replaced by two other functions that do the same thing but just a little bit differently: rank equal and rank average. For this one I'm going to use rank equal, which means it's going to rank the values, but if there are two equal values, it's going to give them the same value, and it's going to do something else also. So let's just use the rank here, rank equal. To make this function work, it needs two things: what value do I need to rank, and where's the range of cells I need to compare it to. So the value I want is the value right next to it, down to the left. Put my argument separator in there, the reference, where's the range of cells I need. So I'm going to use A1 to A5 once more. Now I know I'm going to copy this formula, so I'm going to use F4 right now. Just say from $1 to $5. I'm going to save myself some grief afterwards. Use the argument separator if I wanted to, and you see you got the order, whether it's descending or ascending. If you're using descending, meaning you're going to be using the biggest one to the smallest one, and or ascending from the smallest to the biggest, and that's the way you can rank it, either ascending or descending. If you don't put anything, it's going to use descending from the biggest to the lowest and tell you where that value is compared from the biggest to the lowest or from the lowest to the biggest. And when you see there are arguments in brackets, it means they're optional. They're not necessary if you don't need them. So in this case, I know I want them in descending order. It's the default value. I won't put it, but at least I wanted to show you there are optional options, and those are the one in brackets. So that's my value. From ascending value, the number 2 is the fifth biggest value possible. Then I'm going to be using the fill handle, copy it, and there you go. So this is the biggest one, second, third, and so on. That's fine. But there's the fun part. When two values are equal, that's what happens. You got a first, second, third. There are no number 4. It goes straight to number 5 afterwards. It takes these two and says, okay, those are equal, and then you're going to be going to number 5. So let's just see if I do this one again. I just change it to a 4. It tells me I got 3 values that are in second place, followed by the fifth value. So just put this back like it should be, and let's go see the other ranking function, which is rank, but average. Returns an average number if something happens. So I'm just going to use rank average like I did before. The number, it's going to be 2. Where's the reference? Well, that's from A1 to A5. I'm going to use the F4 key just to place the dollar signs right in front of the row values, which would then be $1 to $5. I won't use the order. It's going to be in descending order from the biggest to the smallest, and just close the parentheses. There you go. I know it's going to give me the same thing, but there's the fun part. Okay, so I'm going to change this value. Now in this case, I know from rank equal that is going to give the same value, but when you use rank average, it's going to give you the average of the two values. So this is the third and fourth value, right? 3 and 4 is equal 7. Divided by 2, you got 3.5. If I were to change this one to 4, so you have 3 values that are equal. So you got 2, 3, and 4, which is equal to 9. Divided by 3, it gives you an average of 3. When you're doing some ranking and you want to add those functions, you would want to do a mathematical operation. Rank average is more fun and more useful. But if you're just ranking them, rank equal would be much better. Let's put them back like they were. There you go. And then the next time you're going to be able to use the functions to either rank your values, find the biggest or smallest, or the X value that you want, or you can rank them also. So that's the way you can use these functions when you have a large range of cells and you want to know where this value is placed compared to the others. So I hope it's going to be useful for you, and I'm sure it will be. This is Pat from uLearn Office. I hope you'll enjoy these functions.